Good morning, traders. It's Wednesday, halfway through the week, July 17th, 2019, 5:30 a.m. Pacific, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm Jonathan Van Kloot with Stock Navigators. Quick reminder, make sure before you go, hit that thumbs up button, give us a like on the video if it was interesting or helpful or useful in any way, and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can be kept up to date on what we're doing, and give me any feedback in the comments below, any symbols that you would like looked at, if I'm not covering what you could use to be covered, or if there's anything that you could use help with in your trading, let me know. Put it in the comments below, and I will do my best to help you out. All right, with that, let us get started by taking a look first at the S&P 500, which is where I always start things off. And S&P had a down day yesterday, but nothing catastrophic. You can see here that this was a relatively small range day on that candle. Nothing gigantic, just kind of average-ish range. But most importantly, where did it pull back to? Right to the trend line. And this morning, we are holding right at that trend line and looking like we want to try to push up on the daily. So I see no reason to be concerned about the trend. It looks like the trend is definitely still up. In fact, I'm not sure what happened to my trend line, actually, now that I am thinking about it, but I seem to have lost my bigger trend line. I thought I had one in here. We've got a trend all the way from down here to here, and you can see that we have fallen slightly below that trend line, but now we're trying to keep going. So the trend is starting to get a little old. No question about it, and it's starting to lose the steepness of its momentum, but that's pretty typical. But this is what appears to be, in my opinion, a wave 3 to the upside. So there is room to go. And where could it potentially go? Well, it might be able to go as high as, dun, 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 wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, way up here, the 161.8 extension around 3,300. That is our potential target. Now, does that mean it has to reach there? No, absolutely not. There is a 15% chance that it gets to below that level and a 15% chance that it gets above that level. So we are looking for something like that to be the ultimate destination for this market, where it wants to go. Now, of course, that's on a daily, so it's going to be a little while. This is not going to happen overnight, but that is potentially where it could go. Now, this line here, let me unextend that since it's been broken anyway. But right now, we are riding this trend line, and everything is still looking good. We're still to the upside, no question. The 13 EMA, very strong to the upside. The 50 is also hooking around, going to the upside. Momentum is solid on the oscillator. It is not growing from here, which I would like to see. I would prefer to see this actually growing a little bit bigger than the last peak. But it's not the end of the world that it's not. As long as this market continues to make higher highs and higher lows, then everything is just fine. So this is the line in the sand right now. As long as that low is not violated, then everything is good and we're still heading upwards. If that gets broken, then this whole analysis is out the window and I have to rethink everything and examine this under a new light. Looking at the 60-minute time frame, it's a little bit of a conflict here. I actually believe that this wave count here is incorrect, but it's what I have to work with at the moment. So it's what I'm going with. The reason I think that it is incorrect is that that would suggest that this wave here, this wave 3, is almost done. We're talking about a wave 3 here, wave 4 here, which means wave 5 to completion is almost there. And I don't believe that could be the case. Wave 3 should have quite a bit more room to go. So right now, this is all I have. All I have to go on is this amount of information. So for the moment, that's where I have put my wave counts. But like I said, I do believe these wave counts are incorrect. So I'm going to just have to give it a little time to play out, and I will adjust them accordingly. But the larger time frame, of course, always dominates anyway. So I am more inclined to stick with what the daily shows anyhow. Not especially worried about what the 60-minute is showing me for big picture anyway. For intraday scalping, sure, I will scalp the direction of the 60. But for overall the daily, I'm not worried about it. We're still heading to the upside. So where might we go? Well, potentially here, looking at this wave count, if this wave count were correct, then we'd be looking for wave 5 to end somewhere right about here at just a little over 3,000, 30, 35 or so. But like I said, I don't think that can be the case because that would mean wave 3 is almost done, and that can't be. So I'm not going to worry about the 60 for the moment, just going to watch it unfold, and as I get more information, I will adjust my count. All right, let's take a look at the RTY, the Russell 2000. And Russell 2000 has been chopping around in this very sidewaysy range here. And this could easily be seen to be a flag. It definitely has a vague resemblance to a flag, but I certainly think any continuation to the upside from here should be considerably longer than just the flagpole length, which is typically what we would use as a target. And that would get us to, maybe around a little above 1620, something like that. And clearly, if this is going to be a wave 3 up, that can't be. This needs to be considerably stronger. Where exactly might it go if this is a wave 3 up? Well, that would be way up here. Somewhere around 1772 would be our potential bottom of our target area. Somewhere in this box is what I'm looking for out of a wave 3. So will we get it? Well, that remains to be seen. Actually, I wanted to do one other thing here. Let me zoom out a little bit and bring this down and take a look and see what has happened in the past around that level. Oh, look at that. Lo and behold, we have a sell zone. So I actually think this is really good for a target right around that 161.8. That actually makes perfect sense. Of course, we got to get over this high first. Once we clear that high, there's pretty much nothing in the way. It is just clear sailing pretty much all the way up to there. So that is my expectation out of the RTY. I am actually myself putting on a swing trade now, just gradually building up a position to get in and capture that wave. So hopefully we get it. We shall see. We'll know more when we know more, when the market gives us more information. Looking at the 60, you can see that sideways action here. It's really just been chopping around, but it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's actually kind of resembling a pennant. You can see it much better on the 60, but it is looking a lot like a pennant, which certainly a bull pennant anyway would suggest continuation to the upside. And as I said, we would typically use the flagpole length as the minimum target, but there's nothing that says that's where it has to stop. That's just a reasonable minimum target. So for a scalp or something like that, well, I guess that's a little more than a scalp, but you know what I mean. For a smaller trade, that would be a perfectly reasonable target, reasonable place to take profits. But as I said, I am looking for a bigger move out of this. So just need to let it finish. This wiggling around, getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's looking like it's getting close to done. We'll have to see how today's action is, but it is definitely looking like it's approaching the end of the pennant. So watching for that break to the upside. We didn't get much of a pullback out of this. If this is in fact a wave 2 on the daily, which is what I've plotted here, the ideal retracement would have been down to the 38.2 to 61.8. But remember, there's 15% chance that it doesn't even get to the 38.2. So this could be it. There's nothing that says this cannot be the wave 2 retracement. So from here, let's just see what happens. We're looking for upside. Of course, if we break these lows, then this count is off and kind of out the window, and I will have to rethink it a bit. And of course, the real line in the sand is going to be this one here. This low here on the daily definitely cannot be violated. If that were to get violated, then I really got to rethink things and got to take a much bigger view and try to figure out what exactly might be happening in this market. But for right now, anyhow, expecting upside. All right, crude oil had a pullback here, definitely for several days, a nice sharp down move, and now it looks like it's wanting to bounce right about at the 50 SMA. Volatility, rather, momentum, I meant to say, is getting a little bit higher. So we're seeing momentum build, and that's a good sign for upside continuation. We do have a nice trend line here. In fact, why don't I have that trend line drawn? That's a little silly. I should do that. Trend line right about, if I cut through the wick, right about there. Oh, man, look where that landed. Wow. I didn't even try to make that happen, and there it is. So perfect trend line bounce, fell right to it, and upside continuation is looking good. For a possible wave 5 completion somewhere right around here, or maybe up to here even. I'm looking to these two sell zones here as my target area for wave 5. So basically somewhere in this region, 64, 65, something like that is going to be where I expect wave 5 to probably run out of steam. It could go higher. There's nothing that says it has to run out of steam there, but that's just the likely place for it to finish up. We have had a retracement to the 38.2. So the thing we have to ask ourselves now is, are we done? Is this the whole retracement? Was this maybe an A, B? Whoops, that's not right. I need my pen. Was this perhaps an A, B, C down, and now we're ready to head up? That's one scenario. Or is this an A down? Yeah, we're going to have a B up and then a C down to get us closer to that 61.8. That is what we don't know right now. We'll have to wait and see. Looking at the 60-minute and looking to see what this is, I'm more inclined to suggest that this is a wave A down. Now we're going to have a B up and a C down. That is what things look a little bit more like to me on the 60 minutes. So kind of expecting we could have some further downside in oil. Maybe we run out down here at, you can't see it because it's on top of another white line, but on this buy zone down here, maybe that's the area. We get to the 50, maybe bounce here and then come down to the 50, or maybe we get all the way down to the 61.8. Either way, I have a feeling there's some more downside to come. Of course, if this high is broken, then that is out the window, and we are in fact going to say this is an ABC down. I still think, looking at the 60, I don't like the wave count for that, so I don't think that's the most likely scenario. But it could happen. Absolutely. If the buyers want it bad enough, they will push it higher. Simple as that. But that's what I'm expecting right now is either way, in the very short term, if you're a short-term scalper, a day trader, something like that, you're looking to trade to the upside. Either way, whether we go all the way up here or whether we just go to here and come down. Either way, right now, the direction is up in the short term. All right. Oops. Why do I have my pen? There we go. Let's go to gold, and gold is in a very definite pennant pattern, wedge pattern, whatever you want to call it, and the end is near. It's getting close to being done. You can see it here. I've drawn the trend lines on the 60, and it's just chopping around, going sideways, giving us that pennant, and that, of course, would suggest further upside to come. So we just need to see it break. We do have what appears to be the end of a wave 3 here, so I think this is a wave 4 complex formation, and that is what we're waiting for a break of. So it does look like the 13 is doing a decent job of holding as support. You can see every time the body of the candle is bouncing above that 13. So it's just all wicks down here. So there's buyers definitely there, and they are buying and buying and buying and just building positions, and they are clearly expecting a break of this high and more upside to come. So watch for that break. Of course, if we break these lows down here, then that's a different story, and got to rethink this whole thing. But right now, to me, it looks like up is the most likely direction in gold. All righty, natural gas had a bad day yesterday for sure. Had a really sharp pullback. Now, I had wave 3 ending here. That's where I had that marked because that was all I had to work with. It was all the data I had, but I didn't like it from the beginning. I didn't like it because it's too short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really? No, that's just not likely. Too short. What I think is more likely is that this is actually a 1, 2 inside the wave 3. And so we're getting ready to head to a wave 3 of 3 to the upside. So I expect something strong out of that. And where might that go? Well, it certainly could get us up to somewhere between the 161 and the 261. And I actually think the 261 is more likely or something certainly above the 161, given that if this analysis is correct and we're talking about a wave 1, 2, and 3 inside the wave 3, well, then that would certainly mean our next wave 3 of 3 has to happen, which is going to be a large wave. So I think 261 is a likely target and could even get beyond that. There's nothing that says it has to stop at 261. And in fact, if we take a look at this, there is a very reasonable target zone right about, whoa, that was a sloppy line. There we go. That's better. Right around here, like 2.9, almost to 3, somewhere in that range. So it would not at all surprise me to see natural gas shoot up and get past this level and end up as high as up here. Maybe we get up to here for maybe the end of wave 3. Maybe it's kind of a short wave 3. Then we get a wave 4 and a final push up into this area, something like that. Don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I am eyeing the 2.9-ish area as a likely target. So keep your eyes out for a break. Whoops, I need to zoom in. Can't really see anything. Keep your eyes out for a break of this high here. Or a break of this low. Certainly, if that low were to get broken, we have a little bit more downside to come. But this is the real, again, I keep saying it, this is the line in the sand. This is the line that must not be crossed. None shall pass. We cannot get below that. If we do, then this whole count is out the window and got to rethink and get a bigger view and see what I missed. So right now, anyhow, it looks like the direction is up. We do have a trend line here that has been violated, but it looks like price is coming right back up to test it again. That's going to be important. We want to keep an eye on that test and see what happens there. Does price get to that trend line, stall, and fail? Or does price get up over that trend line, test it as support, and then head higher? That is the kind of price action we are going to be keeping our eyes peeled for. All right, let us finish up with the beautiful Bitcoin, which is not so beautiful at the moment. So we've had to rethink our wave counts. You may remember, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, that I had been saying here, when that candle happened, I was saying, all right, I like this for a wave 1 up, wave 2 down, and now we're going to have wave 3 up, as long as this low is not broken. That was the key. I saw this as being an A, B, C retracement, and now we're ready to head up, unless this low was violated, in which case it's going to change to be an A, a B, and a C down, and we could see downside down to around the 61.8. We could get below 8,000. So watch out, folks. It could get a little bit bumpy to the downside if you are long Bitcoin, especially if you bought anywhere in here. You're hurting right now. So just be aware that that is what we're looking at now. We're looking at A, B, C. Now, C could be done at any moment. This could be it right here. This doji candle right here, that it could be all there is. We just don't know, but we have to wait and see. We need to see higher highs and higher lows begin to form. And until we have that, the direction right now, short term, is to the downside. You can see the 13 EMA certainly has curved around. Notice that it's not yet below the 50, though. Maybe that's what it will take for this market to turn around. Maybe it will stay down here long enough for the 13 to come down and kiss the 50, and then we can head to the upside. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I do believe there is upside yet to come. We have a wave 3, a weekly wave 3, I should add. Sorry, a weekly wave that finished up here. And so that means we need a weekly wave 5. So I do believe we are going to see another push higher. And I think it is most likely to test the all-time high, get very, very near to it at least, test that almost 20,000 level, at which point I do expect to see extremely heavy resistance. This is going to be the first time back to that zone. First time back to the zone is always your highest probability trade to go against, of course. So that is what I am expecting. So definitely going to be looking to take profits probably along the way. If you're long Bitcoin, you probably want to take profits along the way before another sharp correction happens. All right, that is it for this morning. S&P still just not really doing anything yet. Market opens in about 45 minutes, a little less. So that is it for my morning analysis. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Kloot with Stock Navigators, reminding you to hit that thumbs up button, give us a like on the video, and subscribe to the channel. We would love to have you back another time. I'll be back to do this again on Friday. I do these analyses on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you found this helpful, if this was useful to you, interesting, anything at all, if you hated it, whatever you have to say, throw it in the comments below. And if there is anything I can do to help you out in your trading, if there's anything you're stuck on, anything that's giving you trouble, anything that's working well for you, anything at all you'd like to discuss about trading, throw it in the comments below. I cannot get enough of talking trading. So love to have it. You can also join our free Facebook community. The link is in the description, or check out any of our other YouTube videos in the past, past analyses, things like that, if you want to get a feel for how we trade. We are traders teaching other traders what we know, what we do in the markets. So that's it for me for this Wednesday, July 17th. Until Friday morning, I hope you have a great day. And if you're in the markets today, make sure you trade well. Take care. Bye-bye.